Hello and welcome to Computology Academy. And today we are going to discuss about our question number 6 that was provided on our different social media channels for the mains answer writing practice. And here the question number 6 is related to e-waste and its related environmental and ecological impacts. So we will discuss this question. The question was that the problem of e-waste is worsening day by day. That is the scenario which is prevalent over here in the present time. And throughout the world, this situation is visible as well as in India. So the question states that the problem of e-waste is worsening day by day throughout the world as well as in India. So this scenario, this condition has been provided, and thereafter the actual question starts. That is, what are the issues involved with the e-waste? So what are the issues involved with the e-waste? And thereafter suggest the measures to manage e-waste. So one part is the issues related to the e-waste and another part is the management of the e-waste. So these two parts will have equal weightage. However, 10% of the questions weightage will be for the introduction that has been given over here. The scenario is given and just we have to elaborate that a bit. So in the introduction part, first we will go on to describe the e-waste, that is all the discarded electrical and electronic equipments and their parts are the e-wastes. Those may be operating on the batteries, those may be operating on the electricity. All those electrical and electronic gadgets, equipments, their parts, their spares, whatever it is considered as the e-waste if those are discarded. And the biggest contributors are the household appliances. The household appliances like iron, like washing machine, like calculators, like computers, TV, mixer grinders, whatever you say, those are commonly being used in the household, are the largest contributors of the e-waste in the world, because these consumable goods, these consumable appliances are being used in the largest number. It is the use of the common masses, and because of that the contribution of these appliances is going on increasing day by day in the e-waste. So that is the situation that should be discussed over here. And globally, according to the estimates of some of the NGOs and according to the data collected by some of the NGOs, it is estimated that approximately 53.6 million metric ton of E was generated in 2019. So this is the amount of e-waste that was generated in the year 2019. That is 53.6 million metric ton, and this is also excluding the photovoltaic panels, PV panels. Solar panels are not included in this. If that will also be included in the amount of the e-waste that had been generated in 2019, then the data may overshoot. Then the quantum of e-waste that had been generated will overshoot considerably. And the per capita generation of the e-waste was 7.3 kg per person throughout the world globally. Even if I am not generating any kind of e-waste for that year, that is 2019, then also if the amount of e-waste that was generated in the year 2019, that contributes to 7.3 kg of e-waste, kilograms of e-waste per person. That is the per capita amount. And India is the third largest country which is generating the e-waste. Third largest contributor towards the e-waste that is being generated globally, and that is after USA, that is United States of America, and China. So if we rank them according to the quantum of e-waste generated, then first one will be China, and the second is United States of America. So these two countries are ahead of India, and thereafter India is the third largest generator or third largest contributor of the e-waste globally. Now come to the body part. In the body part, the first question was the issues related to e-waste. So what are the issues? First issue that is involved with the e-waste is the hazardous impact on human health. Hazardous to the human health, and why it is hazardous, that should also be discussed over here. So the e-waste contains various hazardous material like liquid crystal, lithium, mercury, nickel, polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, selenium, arsenic, cadmium, cobalt, copper, lead, etc. All these elements, all these compounds, metals, non-metals, whatever you say, all these things are very hazardous to the human health. And if somehow they enters the food chain, then they are going to damage the human health considerably. So that is the situation. They are even hazardous to the environment, considerably polluting the environment, whether it is soil pollution, whether it is water pollution or air pollution. All the three are getting impacted considerably due to the e-waste. If the e-waste are discarded as the dump in the landfill, then they are going to pollute the soil. If they are thrown out in the water sources, then they will pollute the water. Mercury and these liquid crystals, these biphenyls are going to get dissolved in the water quite easily. Even if they are thrown in the soil, dumped in the soil landfill, as landfill, then also if there is rainfall, then what will happen, many of those metals or non-metals or elements which are readily dissolvable in the water, they will dissolve with water and they will get percolated to the groundwater and they will pollute the groundwater also. So they are going to pollute the water sources considerably, and if they are burnt, then also many of the dangerous hazardous gases will be released in the atmosphere. And if those polluted air are inhaled by the person who are nearby that source of fire in which the e-wastes are getting burnt, then they will be affected considerably. Many respiratory diseases and other things, other health complications will be there for that person. And the third issue is that low capacity of recycling. The e-wastes are recycled at very low amount. The percentage of recycling the e-wastes globally is just 17.4%, and even if we consider in India, then it is below 10%. So that is the situation. Recently, Japan had set one great example. When the Olympics was there, then the medals, those were given to the athletes. Those medals were made of the reclaimed metals from the e-wastes, and it was a great example of recycling the e-wastes. How we can recycle, what would be the benefits, that was exemplified by Japan during the Olympics, and that was a great message towards the world to think seriously about recycling the e-wastes and thereafter dumping in the developing countries. Most of the e-wastes which are originating in the developed countries are being dumped in the developing countries. They are just paying them some amount of damages, some amount of allurement to the developing countries, and developing countries are quite easily accepting the e-waste to be dumped in their nation, and this is a great disaster for the developing countries. Although the Basel Convention says that the transboundary movement of the e-waste should not be there, but still it is getting refuted quite easily by the developed countries, and the developing countries are going on again and again dumping their e-waste in the developing countries. So this is also a great reason of concern globally, because the developing countries themselves are not in that situation to recycle these e-waste scientifically, so they go on to recycle these e-waste in a unscientific way, and because of that many of the health complications as well as environmental conditions are ensuing in the developing countries, which they are not in a position to handle that, and the cost or the burden of the health cost is not commensurate to that amount which is being paid by the developed countries to accept the e-waste in their country. So this is again a lamentable situation. So what are the measures that can be used to manage the e-waste? So e-waste, first of all, there should be formal collection. Many of the times we say that the people, after discarding any electronic goods, they go on to throw it in common places, in the common dustbins, whatever you say, wherever they find it easy, they throw on. And because of that, these e-wastes are not getting recycled scientifically. They are not ending up in a proper place where they can be recycled scientifically. So this is the situation. So here we need to have a proper collection centers for the e-waste, from where these e-wastes should end up to such a facility where they will be recycled scientifically. Thereafter, buyback policy by the producers. Many of the producers are taking this responsibility to buy back the discarded e-waste, and they go on to recycle it scientifically. They are developing their facilities in various regions, and these facilities are using even the reclaimed materials to produce the future products also. So this is a good approach, and this initiative should be taken by each and every producer. Or if each and every producer is not in a position to invest that much of amount to recycle the e-waste, then they can make a group consortium of some of the producers, so that collective efforts should be made by the producers to recycle the e-waste which are getting produced, which are getting generated because of their products scientifically. So it would be a great approach, producers pay approach. So whatever the amount of cost that will be incurred during the recycling of the e-waste, that should be borne by the producers of that e-waste. That is, the goods or the products which are being made by some company, because of that e-waste has been generated after that product has been discarded. So that cost should be added beforehand on their products, and the tax should be collected beforehand from them, so that e-waste, when that product will become the waste, so that can be handled scientifically. So that cost of handling that product or goods when it is discarded scientifically, that should be taken from the producers beforehand. Thereafter, recycling, there is need to improve the capacity, increase the capacity of recycling the e-waste. Although we have seen that global average of 17.4%, but most of the facilities are in the developed countries. Although they are not having that much of facility which is needed over there, but still they are much ahead of developing countries and underdeveloped countries. Underdeveloped countries are even altogether not having any kind of facility to handle the e-waste. Thereafter, legislation is needed over there. There is need to have strict legislation to handle the e-waste, and whoever violates the legislation, the rules and regulations to handle the e-waste should be penalized. And these legislations, after getting enacted, should be followed and implemented in letter and spirit. Only then the situation that is going to be grim in future due to the e-waste can be handled. Thereafter, data and tracking, proper collection of data of generation of e-waste. Even if we are seeing that there was 53.9 million tons of e-waste produced globally during 2019, but there may be the e-waste which are much above this, because still the developing and underdeveloped countries are not having proper data collection, proper tracking of the e-waste, and because of that this data may not be actual data considering the global contribution of each and every country towards the e-waste. So it is also needed to make proper plans and to make proper arrangements and to develop proper capacity for recycling the e-waste. Thereafter, awareness among the masses, the most important thing, the behavioral changes among the masses is the most needed thing, because many a times the people didn't consider it important to properly dispose of the e-waste where it should go on. They will just mix the e-waste, the plastic waste, the food waste, vegetable waste, everything they will pack in the single baggage and they will go on to throw in the municipal dustbins. There is no proper segregation of different kind of wastes, and because of that there are hazardous impacts on the environment also. There are hazardous impacts on the human health also. It is creating the soil pollution, air pollution and all those kinds of pollutions, as well as impacting the human health also. And that is why there is need of behavioral changes among the masses. So awareness programs should be there to make the people aware about the hazardous impacts of the e-waste, how the e-waste should be handled, how it should be disposed of, where to dispose it, why to dispose it properly, what are the concerns behind that. So these things should be known by the common masses also, then only they will be taking care of the e-waste properly. So these measures should be taken by the government as well as the common people also, because protecting the environment and considering the importance of the human health is not the responsibility of the government, whether it is state government, central government, municipalities, etc., but it should be a collective effort. It is the responsibility of the whole mankind to take care of these things, to take care of the e-waste as well as the health situation and all those things. So the e-waste, what should we write on the conclusion? In the concluding part we should write that the e-wastes are bound to increase due to the consumerism, due to the behavior of the people. Many a times we see that कि नया मोबाइल आया, पुराने मोबाइल में कोई खराबी नहीं है, कुछ गड़बड़ी नहीं है, लेकिन क्या हुआ, iPhone, earlier the person was having iPhone 10, it is working well, it is well and good, it can be used for 2 more years quite easily. Then also iPhone 13 आ गया भाई मार्केट में, अब क्या करें, पीछे हो जा रहे, सोशल स्टेटस कम हो जा रहा है लोगों का कि भाई iPhone 13 आ गया, तुम तो 10 पे ही लटके हुए हो. So these kind of things are bound to happen, होके ही रहेगा. And consumerism will lead to much more increase in the generation of e-waste. एक तो सबसे पहली चीज क्या है कि पहले जो कंपनीज थे वो लॉन्ग लास्टिंग प्रोडक्ट्स बनाते थे. आजकल की जो चीजें हैं, द कंपनीज टू जनरेट मोर एंड मोर profit are themselves making such kind of products which will not last more than 5 to 10 years. Many situation we will see that कि जो फोन बनाया 5 साल, 3 से 4 साल, 5 साल तो बहुत ज्यादा कह दिया मैंने, 3 से 4 साल, 2.5-3 साल होते होते various problems will outcrop in your mobile set, various problems you will see in your TV set. And again, the technology is changing so fast कि within 2 to 3 years the older technology gets outdated and the people are looking for the new technology. नई चीजें चाहिए कि भाई उसमें OLED MOLED स्क्रीन आ गई है, Gorilla 5 ग्लास लगा हुआ है, that TV is having the app related to Netflix also, Amazon Prime भी देखना है हमें, ये भी देखना है, 5G enabled होना चाहिए. So these things are going to increase the consumerism in future more than what is happening right now. Nowadays, what kind of consumerism we are seeing, that is going to increase more and more. और फाइनेंस कंपनीज ने तो और भी गड़बड़ी मचा रखी है. नाउ इवन दे आर फाइनेंसिंग द मोबाइल्स ऑल्सो. पहले कहाँ पे हम लोग देखते थे कि इवन द पीपल हैड टू बाई द बाइक्स, vehicles also they used to buy after making the complete payment. फुल पेमेंट करके ही गाड़ियां खरीदते थे लोग. अब तो मोबाइल भी चाहिए तो 8,000 6,000 का भी मोबाइल वो भी फाइनेंस हो जाता है. सो दैट लेवल ऑफ कंज्यूमरिज्म इज देयर. तो इसमें यहाँ पर ये जो ई वेस्ट है, दैट ई वेस्ट इज बाउंड टू इंक्रीज. कभी नहीं रोक सकते हैं कि वो कम हो जाए. दैट विल गो ऑन. So we need to implement the measures which are enlisted above in letter and spirit so that we can handle the e-waste properly. That is the need of the hour, and we need to have the proper mechanism to address the problem, like legislation, like election centers, like proper infrastructure, like producers pay principle. All those things, all those mechanisms should be collectively implemented in sync with each other so that there should be reduction in the e-waste that is ending up in unscientific recycling centers, as well as in those regions where it is going to pollute the soil, the water, air, water, whatever you say, and going on to create hazardous impact on the human health as well as for the environment. So this should be the approach of your answer. And for the questions, follow us on our social media channels. This is for Facebook and Instagram. This is for Telegram. And do visit our website. Very soon our website is going to have the new look. We are going to launch our new website on Diwali. That will have a completely different look. We are going to provide the dark mode also. So those students who go on to read during the night time, they will not face any problem or eye strain or anything. And very soon we are going to launch our app service also, so that even if you go on to read about different things, you go on to take different courses on the mobile also, then it will be available quite easily over there. And do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new informative videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.